Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. First at 4, I'm Jane McCarthy.
And I'm Tom Sherry. A new raceway is emerging in the Deer Park area. It's called Mill Pond Raceway.
Residents in the area are excited for this family-friendly space to open. Others, though, have expressed concerns. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley brings us the story.
We're standing smack dab in the middle of what is now being called the Mill Pond Raceway in Deer Park. The owner says there is still a bit of work to be done here, but he plans to have 4 different courses opened to anyone who wants to kick up some dirt.
We're going to build an off-road short course, a rally track, a mud drag, and a quarter-mile dirt oval track.
Owner Joe Hilterbrand recently purchased the property. He says it's a plan that's been in the works for about 5 years. Once it's ready, he hopes the Mill Pond Raceway will be a positive outlet for youth in the area.
Almost every kid in the neighborhood has a motorcycle and they don't have a constructive place to ride it. This, with the zoning and being in the county, it gives them an outlet for good, clean fun.
The north 30 acres will be used for racetracks, and the southern 86 acres will remain untouched in order to preserve the natural beauty on the property. The raceway is already getting noticed. The Deer Park Bradley Community Facebook page has received many comments about it. The page administrator, who asked to remain anonymous, says some people raise concerns about security there.
With the raceway being so big and bringing in traffic, some people are concerned that there could be additional problems with that.
To address this, the owner plans to close the track during the week and at night. We also noticed questions about whether permits have been approved by the county in order to officially open to the public. Records from the Spokane County Building and Planning Department show a commercial pre-application for the property is still in process. The owner told me an engineer is working on completing those final details, which partly includes the size of the parking area. But he's confident the raceway will be up to code by the first scheduled event in May.
I'm looking forward to it though. As soon as we get this organized, then I think I'll take a turn.
Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Well, check it out, a lovely time lapse of the sunrise at Schweitzer this morning. Wow. Perfect conditions there for skiers today. This past weekend proved to be a beautiful one with more of the same today. A lot of sunshine out there.
Really, and we are lucky that we get the dense fog and low clouds, and this time of year it's very hard to burn that off, but we've been doing that pretty consistently, and we saw it again today with the blue sky and sunshine. We're going to look for more fog and low clouds overnight. We're underneath the big area of high pressure. We still have that air stagnation advisory in effect in these areas to the north and to the west of us. We had areas like Grant County and Lincoln County and Adams County last Friday that were under this advisory, but the advisory has been lifted for those areas, so some good news there, but still parts of the lower Columbia Basin under that air stagnation advisory until 7 o'clock Wednesday. We'll look for mostly clear skies this evening. Fog and low clouds forming late tonight and overnight. Some of that freezing to the roadway, so obviously causing some black ice. Temperatures now are finally seasonal, meaning cold overnight lows and chilly daytime highs. 22 the expected overnight low. If we burn off the cloud cover like we just mentioned, we should get up to about 32 degrees on your Tuesday. When you look ahead to the weekend, right now I've got wet weather on the way. Chance of rain and snow showers. More likely rain than snow, both Saturday and Sunday with daytime highs in the low 40s.
In other news, the foundation named after former WSU quarterback Tyler Hilinski is teaming up now with the NCAA Sports Science Institute. Now, according to a post on the Hilinski's Hope Facebook page, the partnership aims to promote mental wellness in college athletics.
The NCAA Chief Medical Officer says working with Hilinski's Hope will help research and implement strategies to better understand the issue. Wednesday will mark 1 year since Hilinski took his own life. His brain was later found to have evidence of CTE. That's a degenerative brain disease. It's often found in athletes and veterans.
A North Idaho man who killed a baby learned the price he'll pay for that crime.
Our Mark Hanrahan has more on a case that we're working on for you for our 5 o'clock newscast. Mark?
Yes, good afternoon, guys. Today, the judge sentenced Cody Hull to 15 years in prison. He'll be eligible for parole after 5 years. He was convicted of killing his live-in girlfriend's 7-month-old child in Rathdrum in late 2017. Doctors determined the baby died from a blunt force head injury. According to court documents, Hull pleaded not guilty to the first-degree murder charge, but he later pleaded guilty to a voluntary manslaughter charge. KREM 2's Taylor Vito was in court all day today tracking developments. He'll have the latest on this case coming up new at 5 o'clock tonight. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mark. Prosecutors in Wisconsin have released details of 13-year-old Jamie Kloss's kidnapping and how she was treated in her 2.5 months of captivity. In a criminal complaint, the man charged with kidnapping Kloss says he first saw her at a bus stop. He is 21-year-old Jake Patterson. He says he staked out her house several times before the kidnapping. He says he also shaved his head so he wouldn't leave DNA evidence behind.
So Patterson kept Jamie hidden under a bed. Then he stacked objects around it so that he'd hear something move if she ever tried to escape. Well, last week, Jamie did escape when Patterson was out of the house. She pushed away the objects, went outside where a neighbor found her. Patterson says he was out looking for Kloss when the police pulled him over and arrested him. Patterson faces 2 charges of first-degree murder, 1 charge of kidnapping, and 1 charge for armed burglary. Well, the partial government shutdown has entered its 24th day.
It is already the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, and President Donald Trump says it will not end until Congress agrees to a border wall.
The government remains shut down for one reason and one reason only. The Democrats will not fund border security. We're dealing against people who think that if they can stop me from building the wall, again, we've already done a lot of work, but they think that's a good thing for 2020.
Democrats say the government will reopen as soon as the president stops insisting on $5.7 billion for a wall. Some 800,000 federal workers are still furloughed or are working without pay.
And today, the Transportation and Security Administration reported a spike in the number of TSA screeners calling out sick. Unions that represent air traffic controllers and federal law enforcement are now calling for an end to the shutdown. They say it has created a dangerous situation that could threaten public safety.
Well, a lot of questions now about when the government will reopen and who has the power to end the partial government shutdown.
We'll send things over to Whitney Ward verifying some of those rumors.
Good afternoon, both of you. So with the president and Democratic leaders not budging either way, many people are wondering when this government could actually reopen. And a big question circulating online right now is whether Congress could end the government shutdown without the president. So we looked into it. Here are the sources that we used. 3 constitutional law professors from American University, Yale, and Harvard. We also heard from the dean at Berkeley Law School. So it turns out, yeah, Congress could end the shutdown because under Article 1, Section 7 of the Constitution, the president can veto a bill, but then Congress can override the president's veto if they have a 2/3 majority vote in both chambers. Now, the House has passed a bill to end the shutdown, but, and this is the big but, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he will not bring up that bill for a vote in the Senate.
The Senate will not waste its time considering a Democratic bill which cannot pass this chamber and which the president will not sign.
So under the Constitution, if the House and the Senate did pass a bill to reopen the government, then the president vetoes, Congress could override it. So yeah, we can verify. In theory, it could happen. However, that seems highly unlikely with this shutdown because the Senate Majority Leader has said he will not bring that bill to the floor. Jane, Tom?